Hi everybody, welcome to my homestead and welcome to my channel. My name is Jared. In this video, we're going to go over chapter 17 of the book of Revelation. This is part of a series that I'm doing. You don't have to watch them in order, but we're going through the entire book, chapter by chapter. You can find the other videos on my Book of Revelation playlist, along with many other videos. I have a total of 61 that I've done so far that have to do with the book of Revelation. I have no update for the Book of Mormon sharing challenge or the Flood the Earth challenge. Um, I'm sure that some more will come through today. More people reporting shares of the Book of Mormon. Just make sure to do that. Let me know. Put it in the comments. Do hashtag flood so I can easily find it. Make sure it's just a very short comment. So it's not like hidden somewhere within a big, like long story or comment because it's hard to find that way. Or you can also email me. So right now, if I remember right, we're at 5,311 copies of the Book of Mormon that have been shared, and I hope that we can just keep going with this. Share as many as possible. Okay, so we're going to read through this chapter, and then we're going to see what it says in the Institute Student Manual for additional insights. Okay, the chapter heading, John is shown that Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations, has become established throughout the earth. Okay, and there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, and I will shew unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. Let's click on that footnote for whore, and that is the church of the devil, otherwise known as the great and abominable church. Okay, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. And I don't know about you guys, but I know that many of you at least feel the same way. I don't think there's been a time in the history of the world where the world has been so drunk with this wine of the whore's fornication and under such strong delusion. Just, just pure delusion. Uh, everywhere you look, everywhere you go, it's there, and it's really bad right now. Okay, so he carried me away in spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Remember, this is that same beast. Essentially, the one beast in the book of Revelation is the equivalent of the 4 beasts in the book of Daniel. So if you were to combine all those together, you would have, even though it's 4, because you have to remember that I think it's the leopard in the book of Daniel that has 4 heads. So anyway, if you take those 4 beasts, put them together, you count the heads, you come up with 7, and then you have the 10 horns, right? The kingdoms of the earth. So it's as though to say that in the process of time, as one empire has fallen and another one taken its place, all those traditions, philosophies, religions, all that stuff has kind of come down through time and been combined into one, and that's what we have today. Okay, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. Upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. I want to click on, I haven't prepared, I'm just doing this raw. Let's see, mystery. The footnote for that takes you to secret combinations. And yeah, that's very fitting. Secret combinations, they are all about, I guess what you would say, or what you would call like the mystery schools, the occult, doing things in secret, hidden secret teachings, things like that. So that's like a big player, and I think that's why the Book of Mormon talks about secret combinations so much. And they've been with us ever since the time of Cain. He was the first one, I guess you could say, initiated into secret combinations, right? But that is kind of the way that Satan works. I think that's how he essentially interfaces with the world. He finds people that are willing to make a deal with him. He teaches them how they can organize themselves for the purposes of organized crime, essentially, and to do things in secret. And be tricky, essentially. And there's people that fall for that. And yes, Satan has actual people that work for him. We're told this in the scriptures. He's done it a number of times. He tried to do it with Christ when he said that he was going to offer him the kingdoms of the world when Christ was fasting for 40 days. I think that's what he was talking about. Like he'd be like, "Look, I have an organization on earth. I can get you initiated and I'll put you over, you know, this kingdom or that city or whatever." That's how the world works. There's a lot of things behind the scenes. There's some of it that you can learn about through study, and other things you probably never will know about, which are only going to be revealed in the millennium, I'm sure, because we know that the workings of men are all going to be revealed in the millennium, and also the things that God has been doing that we may not know about. So, yeah, secret combinations, working in darkness, working with the occult, and things like that. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman, and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath the 7 heads and the 7 horns. So again, just as a reminder, so we're seeing the woman, which is the great and abominable church, and then the beast is the nations of the world, the nations and the empires and such of modern day. The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition, and they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. And here's the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7, and goeth into perdition. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive their power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is the Lord of lords and the King of kings. And they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. And he saith unto me, The waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. The 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For God hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and to give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of God shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. Let's click on the footnote for city. And that takes you to Revelation 14:8. It says, And there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. All right, let's go to the student manual. We're now in a new chapter 56, Revelation chapter 17 to 22. Introduction and timeline for Revelation 17 through 22. The final chapters of Revelation gave hope to Christians facing persecution from outside the church and from factions within the church that were dissenting from accepted beliefs. Revelation 17 through 22 also describes the crescendo of final earthly events fulfilling Heavenly Father's plan for the redemption of his children. John heard heavenly servants rejoice and praise for the salvation made possible through the Lamb's triumph over evil. John saw the fall of wicked Babylon contrasted with the glories of the second coming and the blessings of exaltation for all those who follow God's commandments or commands. John further saw that the righteous inhabitants of the earth and those who will come forth in the first resurrection will enjoy 1,000 years of millennial peace with Christ. The earth will then receive celestial glory and become the eternal home for all righteous saints. Okay, here's a map. This is where John was writing the book of Revelation on the Isle of Patmos off the coast of Turkey and also Greece right here. Okay. Commentary for Revelation 17 through 12. Okay, so now it's okay. Revelation chapters 17 and 18, the fall of Babylon. In Revelation chapter 16, verse 17, the seventh angel poured out his vial, signaling the final destructive events that will precede the second coming of Jesus Christ. These concluding events include the fall of Babylon, described in Revelation 17 through 18. Ancient Babylon had destroyed Jerusalem in 587 BC, a traumatic and defining event in Israel's history. Israelite prophets, in turn, wrote about the eventual destruction of Babylon, and John drew upon their language as he described the ultimate destruction of the spiritual enemies of God's people. So, and it references Isaiah and Jeremiah. Okay, quote. This is from the Bible dictionary for Babylon or Babel. In Revelation, in all these different chapters and verses, Babylon probably denotes Rome, the great antagonist of Messiah's kingdom. And we know, remember, when we look at King Nebuchadnezzar's dream, King Nebuchadnezzar dream, LDS images. Remember that in the dream, you have this. And at the time that John was writing the book of Revelation, we'd already gone through the Babylonians, persecuting the people of God, the covenant people. And then after that, it was the Medians and Persians. And then after that, it was the Greeks with the Macedonian Empire. And then at the time of John, it was the Romans, right? Okay. It is likely that Babylon also represents all that is wicked in the world. Chapters 17 through 18 depict Babylon as a whore holding a cup full of abominations and filthiness, and as the mother of harlots. In this sense, Babylon is the antitype of the righteous bride that represents the church, and the antithesis of Zion as the pure in heart. John's vision of Babylon parallels much of Nephi's vision of the great and abominable church. Okay, so here's Isaiah's vision of the destruction of Babylon by Paul Gustave Doré. Because there's a pile of rubble right here, I guess, so there's some crumbling and stuff. All right. Okay, so Revelation 17, the woman and the beast. Scholars have historically interpreted the beast with 7 heads as an allusion to the city of Rome, because Rome was founded upon 7 hills, as well as a reference to a number of Roman emperors in the 1st century AD. Though these are possible meanings, a broader interpretation may be that Rome represented a seat of corruption in John's day. As such, this worldly city may be likened to similar centers of corruption in all eras. The terms used to describe the woman who rode upon the beast attest to the great political and destructive power she will have over the nations and kingdoms and people. John described the woman as the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. She commits fornication with kings and inhabitants of the earth. Her clothing depicts power and wealth. She is the mother of harlots, which indicates that she gives birth to other prostitutions, organizations, governments, and ideologies that spew forth wickedness. John recorded that he was astonished at the greatness of the woman's wickedness. Nevertheless, in the end, she'll be overthrown by those she formerly ruled over. And I'm assuming that he was astonished at just like how tricky these secret combinations have been throughout time, how much power they actually wield. And for all I know, maybe he saw the times when God intervened and stopped them because we've talked about Israel, for example, the modern nation state of Israel, and we know that the only reason why it exists is because of miracles. It goes against logic that it's still here today. They just recently celebrated, I think on the Hebrew calendar, they celebrated their Israel's 75th birthday. So, um, it would be horrible to see what would happen with the world if it wasn't for God and His interventions. You know what I mean? Uh, they would probably be even more powerful and even more successful in implementing their goals. And we're probably only going to really find these things out in the millennium when all things are revealed. Revelation 17:2 through 6. The culture of Babylon permeates the world. In Revelation 17:2 through 6, John described Babylon as a harlot clothed in fine jeweled apparel and drunken with blood. One possible meaning of John's description in these verses is that in the last days, a lifestyle of sexual immorality, wealth, and violence could permeate or would permeate the world, which it definitely does. Uh, Institutions, governments, and people who embrace this lifestyle can be seen as part of Babylon. While serving in the 70, Elder David R. Stone spoke of this pervasive corruption. Quote, "There's no particular city today which personifies Babylon. Babylon was, in the time of ancient Israel, a city which had become sensual, decadent, and corrupt. That sensuality, corruption, and decadence, and the worshipping of false gods, are to be seen in many cities, great and small, scattered across the globe. As the Lord has said, seek they seek not the Lord to establish his righteousness, but every man walketh in his own way and after the image of his own God, whose image is in the likeness of the world." And you guys, I've kind of been thinking about this recently, how, um, sometimes like you'll be watching like the channel TLC or something like that, and you'll come across like people that have amazing collections. Um, I'm just going to do amazing collection images. You know who these people are. Um, let's do Coke collector. Okay, so here you go. This guy, I guess, is in Australia. I'm not saying anything bad about this man, and I'm not saying that it's bad to collect things. That is not what I'm saying. Okay, it's between him and the Lord. All I'm trying to illustrate is that there are people that really prize their possessions, whether it's collections, whether it's um, a collection of guns, whether it's sports. Let's do sports collector. Yeah, see, look at this. You have people that get really proud of their stuff, and it's fun. I've collected things in the past, and actually, I'm really digging these little pendant banner things here. I don't know what those teams are, but let's see, New York Stars. Maybe this was before the NFL, like in the very early days, or I don't recognize that. If you guys know what those are, let me know. Memphis Rogues. What are all those? Sorry, I gotta find out. Is it gonna say anywhere? No. No. Okay, well, fine. So anyway, my point is, these are extreme examples, But there are people that do this in different ways where essentially these are their idols. These are their false gods. Uh, there's this channel that I watch. I'm not going to name it here because I'm not trying to disparage this person, but there's this channel that I watch where the guy, hey, look, this is in Kansas, Atchison, Kansas. Check that out. Okay, so there's this guy that I watch that on YouTube. He does all this like pop culture type stuff. It's usually like retro things, like from the 80s and 90s. And one time he did a video where he went to this pinball arcade, and he said that for him that was church. He was like, this is my church. Not being serious, but it is kind of serious though, because you watch his stuff, like all of his comments. You know that he's not a religious person at all. He makes comments about it, and then he goes to this pinball place in Vegas that has lots of pinball machines. It's actually really cool, but for him, video games and pinball machines and nostalgic stuff, it's like the center of his world. And for a lot of these people, their sports and collecting things and whatever is the center of theirs. So, and I'm sure you've heard this before, in the past in the church, that modern day idolatry, it's not like you necessarily have a statue of a god, but it's these like different things that you give so much priority to in your life over the things of God. And again, that's not to say that you can't have fun, collect things, but I think that you can cross a line where that's your priority and then God's on the back burner. So anyway, okay, so I just brought that up because he said, but every man walketh in his own way and after the image of his own God. Whether that's sports, pinball, machines, whatever, whose image is in the likeness of the world. What an insidious thing is this culture amidst which we live. It permeates our environment. That can be found in the Ensign, May 2006. Okay, Revelation 17:6, drunken with the blood of saints. Revelation 17:6 describes the woman being drunken with the blood of the saints, which suggests that throughout the ages, many righteous people have been slayed by the wicked. The scriptural language suggests that the slaying of the righteous had an intoxicating effect on those who carried out the slaughter. I think sometimes that would be referred to as bloodlust. Bloodlust definition. Yeah, uncontrollable desire to kill or maim others. You think about people that are super, super toxic, psychopathic, sociopathic, and others. Okay, Revelation 17, 8 through 11, temporary nature of the beast. John saw that the beast was and is not. Revelation 17, 8. He also saw a vision of 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. John's language suggests that the wickedness of the world will be temporary. And I just know there's probably somebody out there that's trying to like match this up with modern day celebrities, political leaders and stuff like that, where it really does just seem like it's just symbolic of the temporary nature of power in how one person comes, another person goes, another person comes, another person goes. Okay, Revelation 17:14, war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome. Though the scenes John saw in Revelation 17 can seem frightening, he also saw that the Lamb shall overcome the wickedness of the whole world. President Gordon B. Hinckley affirmed that the Lord and his people will prevail in the war against evil. Okay, this is President Hinckley talking. In the October Conference of 1896, President Wilford Woodruff said, "There are 2 powers on the earth and in the midst of the inhabitants of the earth, the power of God and the power of the devil. When God has had a people on the earth, It matters not in what age, Lucifer, the son of the morning, and the millions of fallen spirits that were cast out of heaven have warred against God, against Christ, against the work of God, and against the people of God. Okay, that's the end of the quote. And now President Hinckley says, the war goes on. It is waged across the world over the issues of agency and compulsion. It is waged by an army of missionaries over the issues of truth and error. It is waged in our own lives, day in and day out, in our homes, in our work, in our school associations. It is waged over questions of love and respect, of loyalty and fidelity, of obedience and integrity. We are all involved in it. We are winning, and the future never looked brighter. I need to add that to my future is bright collection of quotes. Okay, and then it goes to Revelation 18, so that's going to be in a future video. So, I think about what happened this last conference, and I don't know if this is a clue of any sort, but remember, we talked about this recently, but just in case you missed that video, in this last conference, in President Nelson's last talk, the answer is always Jesus Christ. He quotes, this is what he says, I know that his power is descending upon his covenant-keeping people, who are, quote, armed with righteousness and with the power of God in great glory, end quote. And that's from 1 Nephi 14:14. We're actually going to go there. I'm going to zoom in. So after that, this is what it says. And it came to pass, so first you have this, okay? And it came to pass that I, Nephi, beheld the power of the Lamb of God, that it descended upon the saints of the church of the Lamb, and upon the covenant people of the Lord, who were scattered upon all the face of the earth. And they were armed with righteousness and with the power of God in great glory. Now look what happens after this. And it came to pass that I beheld the wrath of God was poured out upon the great and abominable church, insomuch that there were wars and rumors of wars among all the nations and kindreds of the earth. And as there began to be wars and rumors of wars among all the nations, which belonged to the mother of abominations, the angel spake unto me, saying, Behold, the wrath of God is upon the mother of harlots. And behold, thou seest all these things. And when the day cometh that the wrath of God is poured out upon the mother of harlots, which is the great and abominable church of all the earth, whose founder is the devil, then at that day the work of the Father shall commence in preparing the way for the fulfilling of his covenants, which he hath made to his people who are of the house of Israel. And it came to pass that the angel spake unto me, saying, Look. And I looked, and beheld a man, and he was dressed in a white robe. Okay, and then he sees John, the Revelator, and he's told, okay, the rest of this revelation, he's going to be the one that writes it all down, so you don't need to. But anyway, it just makes me think about that the wrath of God, we know that it's been going on for a while. The four angels of the book of Revelation that were waiting to cut down the earth, or I can't remember how it's worded, but they wanted to bring the judgments of God upon the earth. That began at the dedication of the Salt Lake Temple in 1893. And it's been going on since that time, but the time is coming where this great and abominable church is going to come to its end, right? So anyway, I think that we're getting really close to that time. I don't know if this is kind of like a reminder, but it is going to fall at some point. All right, well, that's going to be it for this one. So again, make sure to check out my playlist. Watch all the videos on this playlist. There's so much good information here. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe, like this video if you liked it, leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Also make sure to share it, and I'll talk to you guys later.